Hello everyone, I'm Sunil from Vision Inc. I would like to present the financial results for the second quarter of the fiscal year ending December 2025. In other words, the midterm or interim results. First of all, I'll start with the consolidated results for the second quarter of the fiscal year ending December 2025. Based on our business strategy 2025 to 2028, we have announced that we will aim for the starting line toward achieving 10 billion yen in operating profit in 2028. We will be making aggressive investments this year and next year. As it turns out, we have been making these investments while also updating our record high profits. The breakdown of the investment shows 325 million yen in areas that affect the P&L. I will explain the details of this breakdown later. As for operating profit, it was 2.903 billion yen, which also continues to update our record high figures. Regarding the breakdown of investments, these are in New York, World eSIM, and accounting BPO operations. For the first and second quarters, we have presented the breakdown this time by personnel expenses, advertising expenses, and other selling, general, and administrative expenses. All of these have been steadily increasing. Next, here is the trend in cumulative results for the interim period. I will provide the details in the section for each segment. First, regarding the base number of outbound travelers, in the April to June quarter of 2025, the number was 3.09 million. In 2019, this was 4.62 million, so the recovery has only reached 66.9%. In the January to March quarter of 2025, the recovery rate was 71.5%, and for January to June, it was 69.3%. So while the external environment is not very favourable, we have nonetheless been achieving record highs. First, regarding net sales, the figure was 17.021 billion yen in 2024, which increased to 18.686 billion yen, a 9.8% rise. Operating profit was 2.72 billion yen in 2024, which increased to 2.903 billion yen, a 6.7% rise, exceeding our announced forecast of 2.797 billion yen. Next, in the global Wi-Fi business, sales rose from 9.186 billion yen to 9.745 billion yen, a 6.1% increase. Operating profit increased from 2.753 billion yen to 2.791 billion yen, a 1.4% rise. In the information and communications service business, sales increased significantly from 7.321 billion yen to 8.136 billion yen, up 11.1%, showing steady growth. Operating profit rose from 916 million yen to 951 million yen, a 3.8% increase. In the glamping and tourism business, sales increased substantially from 505 million yen to 802 million yen, a 58.9% rise. As for operating profit, it increased from 37 million yen to 63 million yen, a 67% rise. This segment is also progressing steadily. Next, here are the highlights of the second quarter of the fiscal year ending December 2025. As I mentioned earlier, as shown by the red circles, all segments have set new record highs in both sales and profit. Continuing with the highlights of the second quarter of the fiscal year ending December 2025. As I mentioned at the beginning, we have been actively making upfront investments, yet all metrics are setting new record highs. As I will explain later, the progress rate for recurring revenue is also at 51.9%, showing steady advancement. Next, continuing with the highlights. First, in global Wi-Fi, as I mentioned earlier, outbound traveler numbers are down. So the question is, why is it that despite a decline in outbound travelers, the global Wi-Fi business is achieving substantial growth? This is a question we receive from many of you. First, we have a large base of corporate customers. From 60,000 registered companies in the second quarter of 2024, the number of companies increased to 69,000, a 15% rise. Among these, the global Wi-Fi for Biz service grew from 10,431 companies to 12,669, a 21% increase. Because there is a time lag of a few months, please understand that registrations do not immediately translate into sales. The impact typically appears about 3 months later. In addition, we are focusing on inbound services for visitors to Japan, such as Wi-Fi rental and battery rental at the Osaka Kansai Expo, where we were able to open a booth and actively promote our services. This has been well received by customers. Furthermore, as mentioned earlier, we have been making upfront investments in New York and eSIM. Because of these, profit growth may appear lower than usual, but we have benefited from these effects and are still updating record highs, and we hope you will understand the results in that context. In the information and communication service business, we have been strengthening our sales force, recruitment, and sales channels, creating an organizational structure that can respond to changes in the external environment. We are also focusing resources on areas that are currently trending upward, with mobile communications leading the way this quarter. For recurring revenue as well, we are focusing on expanding in-house developed recurring revenue services offerings. Some of these products require upfront investment, but even so, we have reached 1.63 billion yen, or 54% progress. We are also actively investing in BPO, and the number of customer companies we have acquired continues to increase. Since these are subscription-based services, the revenue continues to build up steadily. In the glamping and tourism business, while this segment as a whole is seeing substantial growth, the biggest contributor is the tourism business, providing strong support. Occupancy rates for glamping facilities are, of course, rising and contributing to revenue. By 2027, we plan to open our final location on Awaji Island, offering a perfect location where every room has a view of the Akashi Bridge. With this, we will have an environment that can serve customers in the Kansai, Kanto, and Kyushu regions. Next is the customer profile for the global Wi-Fi business. For outbound travelers, as I mentioned earlier, corporate usage is growing from 58.8% to 63.7%. Growth among individual customers is very low. Given that overall growth is low, the corporate growth rate is making a strong contribution. In terms of sales value as well, the proportion from corporate customers has grown from 76.8%. Repeat usage rates are also increasing significantly. This is a favorable trend for the medium to long term. Next is the usage rate for unlimited plans in the global Wi-Fi business. As mentioned earlier, corporate usage is increasing, and within that, the proportion using unlimited plans is also rising, so things are going smoothly. Usage by individual customers is slightly declining. For unlimited 4G, 5G plans, the 5G unlimited usage plan is steadily growing. While 4G usage is declining, customers are shifting to 5G, and we hope you will understand it in that context. Next is about the world eSIM in the global Wi-Fi business. This is currently in the investment phase, but we have been strengthening sales, and it has begun contributing to results with a year-on-year increase of 362%, with progress now at 54.4%. The trend we are seeing is that many individual customers choose nearby areas, and even if they travel in a group of 4, they each buy 4 separate SIM cards. Although in many cases it is cheaper to share Wi-Fi, there are still many customers who have lost interest in sharing Wi-Fi after the COVID-19 pandemic over the past 4 years. As a result, while we plan to shift such customers toward Wi-Fi, at present these areas are seeing growth, and we are actively expanding in them. As you can see from this graph, sales are down compared to the previous quarter, but this is because the number of outbound travelers has dropped significantly. For individual customers, seasonality has a strong impact. That's the current situation. However, as you can see from the graph on the right, cumulative usage numbers have been steadily building up. Next is the performance trend for the global Wi-Fi business. Most of the points shown here were already covered earlier, but one item I did not mention is Ninja Wi-Fi for inbound travelers, which is also growing steadily. In addition to Ninja Wi-Fi, sales of SIM cards at airport counters and from vending machines, of which we have installed quite a number, are also increasing steadily. At present, both sales and profits are progressing well. Next, the information and communication service business. As mentioned at the outset, we have been actively investing in accounting BPO while focusing on in-house developed recurring revenue services. On top of that, both sales and profits continue to set new record highs, and we see this as a very favorable situation. Next, the glamping and tourism business. As I mentioned earlier, our tourism business based on the DMC model, proposing high value-added travel, is steadily growing. While the increase is centered on inbound travelers from Europe and the United States, there is also growing inbound demand from Asia. We are also adding on services in which we handle travel arrangements for these visitors to Japan. Next, the status of the company-wide recurring revenue. Against the 2025 forecast of 2.39 billion yen, we are now at 51.9% progress. We are focusing on the subscription portion, and in doing so, we are working not only to increase sales, but also to extend the medium to long-term lifetime value itself. This is steadily building up. Next is the quarterly trend. The area for the second quarter is outlined in red here. Last year, it was 8.4 billion yen, and this year, it has grown to 9.4 billion yen. Although this quarter is generally a slow season, profit has grown from about 1.2 billion yen to 1.4 billion yen. This is a record high, and in fact, the profit margin has also reached the highest level ever. Next, the assumptions for operating profit in the fiscal year ending December 2025. The exchange rate assumption is set at $1 is 150 yen, and the overseas travel recovery rate is set at 81.1% for the full year. This is compared to our company's 2019 level, so please note that it is not the overall recovery rate for travel. And, as I've repeatedly mentioned, we will be making aggressive investments. We will follow through on this firmly. Outside of these assumptions, any M&A that might be carried out would be an add-on investment. Next, the business strategy 2025 to 2028. As announced previously, there are no changes, and progress remains steady. Next, regarding the corporate use of global Wi-Fi. As I mentioned earlier, if you look at the long-term timeline, registered companies are up 15% from last year, and registrations for global Wi-Fi for Biz are up 21%, so things are progressing steadily. Next is a brief review of the global Wi-Fi business in the United States. First, regarding the market environment. In the US, the passport ownership rate has already exceeded 50%, meaning that active overseas travel is taking place. In Japan, unfortunately, the rate is now 17%, so we hope to see growth from here. In New York alone, 3 airports handle 145.7 million transactions, of which 52.2 million are international flights. To put that into perspective, that's more than the combined total of Japan's outbound and inbound travelers. That's how large the market is in New York alone. Of course, the US has more than 100 million outbound travelers in total, so we have begun actively targeting this market. Next is about a topic from the information and communications service business regarding web cameras. These have been selling very well, and we have updated them into an in-house developed service. Under the name VWS Cam, this is a monthly subscription service offering a cloud-based AI-compatible product, released on August 1st. The cameras had already been selling steadily, but with the wide range of customer needs, we have upgraded them and significantly improved procurement to turn them into an in-house developed product. Finally, regarding dividends. For now, our plans are progressing smoothly, and there are no changes to the distribution. Today's presentation was for the interim results, so we have taken quite a bit of your time. But in this first half, we have been able to achieve record highs while making aggressive investments and firmly expanding areas where growth is possible. In the second half, we will be aiming for even higher goals. The third quarter is a busy season, and the fourth quarter, which used to be a slow season, has now shifted to being almost a busy season as well, due to a significant increase in corporate demand. Also, with various developments such as the use of AI, we are seeing major changes. As executives, we have viewed these changes as opportunities and have taken advantage of them as such. We will continue to put this into practice in the second half of the year, and we would be grateful for your continued support. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch today's presentation.